With the change in weather, Russian forces have stepped up attacks along nearly the entire front line. Over the past months, the heaviest fighting has been in four areas: Oleksandrivka, Pokrovsk, Kostiantynivka, and Lyman. Ukraine's commander-in-chief Oleksandr Syrsky says Ukrainian forces are holding an active defense. Moreover, in March, Ukrainian troops regained control of nearly 50 square kilometers of territory. What does it look like? Just the facts with some powerful footage for you in Deep Strikes. I'm Yulia Horova. Let's begin. Crews of Ukraine's 429th Brigade HLS destroyed an IMR-3 engineering vehicle in the Vovchansk direction. An US Patriot carrying an assault group was moving behind it. The IMR-3 is a very rare target. Russian forces use these vehicles to clear paths in difficult assault conditions. Soldiers of Ukraine's 24th Separate Mechanized Brigade, named after King Danilo, spotted a Russian ground drone known as the Impulse M. It's one of the enemy's newer developments. Russian propaganda claims it is autonomous and resistant to electronic warfare. But let's take a look at how Ukrainian drones destroy it. A special unit, Tartan, is carrying out a clearing operation near Stepnohirsk in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. Ukrainian military intelligence says that during the fighting, hundreds of Russian troops were killed and more than 20 armored vehicles were destroyed. Several soldiers also surrendered. According to Ukrainian intelligence, Russian forces are trying to counterattack in small groups, but most of them are stopped before they can advance or eliminated in close combat. They are also actively using FPV drones, trying to gain an advantage in the air. Despite this, Ukrainian forces says they remain in control of the situation and continue their operations in the area. Drone operators from Ukraine's 413th Regiment of Unmanned Systems, known as RAID, carried out strikes on Russian logistics in the temporarily occupied part of the Zaporizhia region. According to Ukrainian military sources, these strikes hit a supply warehouse, a logistics hub, and a fuel Russian tanker. Ukrainian officials say that these attacks are disrupting Russian supply lines and limiting their ability to carry out operations in the south. Operators from Ukraine's unmanned system forces are targeting Russian equipment, staging areas deep behind the front lines, undermining the army's offensive potential. In particular, heavy bomber drones from the 412th Nemesis Brigade struck Russian positions dozens of kilometers from their front line. During a nighttime operation in the Zaporizhia direction, Russian forces lost 3 armored vehicles, 6 other vehicles, and personnel. One phase of the operation was carried out in coordination with Ukraine's military intelligence, which provided reconnaissance and confirmed these strikes. At the same time, in the Lyman direction, Russian forces tried to push Ukrainian defenders out of their positions near Kolodezi and Dibrova. Near Pokrovsk, Ukrainian troops repelled attacks around Rodinske, Mirnograd, Udachne, Belitsky, Hryshine, and Muravka. And in the Oleksandrivka sector, fighting was reported near the settlements of Oleksandrograd, Zeleny High, and Novogrigorivka. Fighters from Ukraine's 71st Air Assault Brigade destroyed a group of Russian troops in the Sumy region. 29 Russian soldiers tried to move behind Ukrainian positions using a gas pipeline and poor weather conditions. This route had been used before, but Ukrainian intelligence units, drone crews, and artillery detected the movement in time and stopped this advance. The entire group was neutralized. And according to Andriy Kovalenko, head of Ukraine's Center of Counter and Disinformation, this is not a full-scale offensive in Sumy. He said these are mostly attempts by small Russian assault groups to gain a foothold in the border area. Aerial reconnaissance units from Ukraine's Kharkiv border guard destroyed the Russian self-propelled artillery system, the MSTAS, the south Vovchansk direction. They also hit 6 enemy shelters, 4 vehicles and motorcycle, and disabled 2 communication antennas. Ukrainian border guards say these strikes are steadily weakening Russian forces. Without artillery, cover and communication, it becomes much harder for them to hold their positions. No infantry needed. Ukrainian robots for the first time capture the whole Russian position on the front line. President Zelensky revealed the details of the operation. As a result, the occupiers surrendered. These were no casualties among Ukrainian defenders. Zelensky added that Ukrainian robotic systems have carried out more than 22,000 missions overall in just 3 months. It is about high-tech protecting the highest value, human life, the president emphasized.
The future is already on the front line, and Ukraine is building it. These are our ground robotic systems. For the first time in the history of this war, an enemy position was taken exclusively by unmanned platforms, ground systems, and drones. The occupiers surrendered, and the operation was carried out without infantry and without losses on our side.
Russians started actively dodging Putin's army draft, say both Institute Study of War and German analysts. The analysis of open sources indicates a further reduction in the pace of recruiting Russian military personnel, which correlates with other signs of problems in human resources in Russian Federation. ISV analysts drew attention to the study of the economist of the German Institute of International Affairs and Security, Janis Kluch, published on the April 12th. According to him, the Russian army in the first quarter of 2026 managed to recruit only 800 to 1,000 people per day, while in the same period a year ago, in 2025, the figure was up to 1,200 a day, which means a significant drop of approximately 20%.
There are reports of increased contract bonuses in at least 12 regions of the Russian Federation and increased pressure on businesses and universities to encourage covert recruitment. Russia is increasingly facing systemic problems in replenishing its personnel, which are exacerbated by significant losses at the front, from the report of the Institute for the Study of War.
Ukrainian forces targeted Russian drone storage site with French British Scalp missiles. The General Staff showed a video of the strike near Donetsk airport. Massive explosions and fire broke out. Ukrainian drones also struck Russian ammo depots in temporarily occupied parts of Zaporizhia and Donetsk regions. Before declared ceasefire on the 10th of April, Ukraine's defense forces struck 2 Russian drilling platforms in the Caspian Sea that were supplying fuel to the occupying forces. It was confirmed by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The targets included ice-resistant stationary platforms. These facilities are located in the northern part of the Caspian Sea, nearly 1,000 kilometers from the front line. The platforms are an important part of supplying fuel and lubricants to the aggressor's army. The operation was carried out as part of a strategy aimed at reducing the military economic potential of Russia. A major fire has broken out a Apatite chemical plant in Russian Volga region. It is one of Russia's largest producers of ammonia and ammonium nitrate. These substances are critical raw materials for the defense industry, used in the production of explosives and gunpowder. According to analysts, videos show thick black plume of smoke rising from 2 out of 3 production units, with a combined capacity of 900,000 tons annually. Since analysts estimate that the affected units account for about 6% of Russia's total ammonia production. Ukrainian drones have also paid a fiery visit to Russian Belgorod region. Fireworks as a result. Russian fuel and oil product depots at the logistics of army was successfully hit. Meanwhile, in other part of Russia, in 1,500 kilometers away, drones targeted a petrochemical plant in the region of Bashkortostan. Local authorities say that several drones were shot down and debris fell on the territory of one of the enterprises. But looking at that thick black smoke, we can ascertain some UAVs made it to the target. A fire broke out and staff had to be evacuated. Facility produced activities for aviation fuel. Also, other facilities were hit, those that also provide important components for aviation and missile technology, including production of explosives, gunpowder, and ammunition. Kyiv and Berlin have agreed on a defense package worth 4 billion euros, announced Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov after a meeting with his German counterpart Boris Pistorius. The agreement mainly concerns the strengthening of Ukraine's air defense, development of long-range capabilities, and joint production of drones. The Ukrainian Minister of Defense has signed 2 contracts, one with American company Raytheon for the supply of PAC-2 missiles, and another with the German defense manufacturer Diehl Defense for IRIS-T systems.
Germany will finance the contract for several hundred Patriot missiles. This will significantly strengthen the defense of Ukrainian cities and critical infrastructure. The supply of 36 IRIS-T launchers is also planned, which will enhance the multi-layered air defense system. We have agreed on 300 million euros of investment in long-range capabilities, which will allow us to increase the production of Ukrainian weapons. As part of the Build with Ukraine initiative, we are launching the joint production of mid-strike drones with the use of AI. In the first stage, 5,000 drones for the defense forces. Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukrainian Minister of Defense, in a Telegram post.
We'll keep you updated on how Ukraine is pushing back Russian attacks and the new technologies shaping its defense here on UATV. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel so to stay tuned to what is happening on the front line. Presented to you by us, UATV in Ukrainian perspective.